Thank you for letting me use your phone, Shmueli Warren, but more importantly, thank you for letting me use your time. Hi, everybody.
Sure.
Welcome to what may be episode 1, 2, I'm thinking episode 1 or 2 of Trauma Dump with Zach Adler. And when what is very clearly a no-holds-barred grab for clout for the attention of my previous podcast's audience, I'm with Shmueli Warren.
What's up? What's up?
No, I actually had you on because you're a leader in the field of what industry do you work in?
Gynecology.
That's why I had you on, is you're thought leader in like these really important fields, and it's nothing to do with the fact that a couple thousand people on the internet know me and you from a certain podcast, and we're going to talk about that podcast, but we'll get to that. But
sure.
I do appreciate you coming through. I know you weren't feeling so well.
Sure.
Shmueli, to know you and to be your friend is to know that you do not feel well about 6.5 times a week.
Correct.
You have the immune system.
The other half time a week I'm drinking.
You have the immune system of a small Victorian child.
Yes, I have the immune system of those African children in the commercials eating rice.
Yeah, 100%. You know how I want to start? Walk me through the fit. You're
fit.
Low key. You're the
fit.
Talk about the fit.
The fit in general is the same fit. I'm like SpongeBob. It's always skinny jeans. Most of the time, gray.
You're a skinny jean guy.
Gray skinny jeans because they match everything. I'm a boots guy in general.
Shmuel, I don't know how to tell you this, but
what, they're going out of style?
No, that's black. That's not gray.
These are charcoal. You just blind. I know they're going out of style a little bit.
Boots are
more
nice.
Baggy thing. Appreciate it.
I was going to ask you this. I actually had that written down as an official question. Do you think you'll ever make the switch from skinny jeans?
Yeah, I'm sure when the style becomes really, really out of it. Like
it's pretty out.
It's getting out. It's getting out. So I probably will make the switch in the next year or two to like the more. I don't know if I'm going to go to the full bell bottom, wide open.
Right.
I don't know if I'll go with a full wide everything with like the shirt tucked in and like the high waist.
You're not going to be Harry Styles anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not going to be Steven Sanchez, but like
I don't even know who that is.
He's the guy that if I ever fall in love.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. But the fit is Zara jeans all the time.
You're big Zara. The boots are crazy though. Tell me about the boots.
Boots are Aldo. I got them 2 or 3 years ago. They add to my height, which is already.
You're a mall-made man. Like if you want the Shmueli Warren aesthetic, you walk into a mall with a blindfold, then you just walk into stores.
Correct. Like I don't wear any like designer clothes. Nothing to do with my financial situation.
You don't thrift, right?
I don't thrift. But like I was always into clothing. My brothers were always into clothing. They got me into it when I was young, which was an interesting thing because Cleveland people do not know anything about clothing. So we're like the only 3 well-dressed guys walking into Shul. Yeah, and it was always it was like funny. It was always. I
don't know if we talked about this enough on
and this
Mislabeled, which is hilarious.
Straight up Hollister. Like I was a flannel. I'm like, as long as I'm too insecure. So like, as long as someone can't see the label, I'm good.
The label, yeah. You know what this just reminded me of? He's gonna hate that I'm talking about this, but I shot an episode with someone, and we ended up we're not gonna put out that episode. We did a reshoot.
Okay, he sucked. I got it.
No, his stomach, his shirt. We didn't realize his shirt was like above his belly button the entire time.
Problem all the time.
And he was like, "Shut it down." He was like, "Shut it. We're not."
By the way, I didn't realize I have this problem, but because I wear like skinny jeans and like.
Oh, you're low riding. I'm seeing your boxers.
There are times where plumber's crack comes into play, and I didn't know about this until my friend told me, and they're like, "No, you always have plumber crack, bro. Like if you're
right."
And I'm like,
I feel like plumber's crack once in a while is almost like sexy. It's like an exotic thing. But if you become the guy that always
has plumber crack, it's not a great look. It's not a great look.
Shmueli, you don't be. Well, wear a belt.
No, so it's not that. I don't really know what it is. Maybe my waist is weird. I don't have Shakira hips.
I've often wished you did. I wonder if there's anyone who's going to be watching this who doesn't know us from Mislabeled. But if in case those people do, it is possible. The reason why in my other episodes that I've shot, there was a little bit more of like tell me about yourself. The reason why I'm not doing that is because I've known this fucker for my literally entire life since I was 0 years old.
I was shitting in your diapers.
Yeah, you've said that. I don't like that.
That line, you're like, I don't like it.
You've said that before. I hate it every time. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's funny, but since we were 2.
So, I think one of the first things I wanted to talk about is I had the tremendous zechus to go to Cleveland, Ohio, University Heights, Beechwood, Ohio, specifically for a Shabbos recently, and that's where we're from. And I know you go home pretty often.
Yeah, I try to go home. My whole family lives there, so I try to go home every 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Sometimes in between. Sometimes it takes. Sometimes it'll be a little longer.
Yeah.
But
So I'm gearing up. My question here is my mom got remarried. I haven't been a Clevelander since I was 18. I'll visit like once every few years, but I'm not a Clevelander. You're a Clevelander.
Yeah.
The change I saw in Cleveland was so drastic because it's been a 6-year time period since the last time I visited. You go back like at least once or twice a year. Like, what's been that gradual shift? Talk to me about the shift in the Cleveland Jewish community.
So there's 2 things. Number one, I'm not the best person to ask because I'm not so religious. So when I go back, right?
You're not really going to shul.
Not going to shul on Shabbos. I'm waking up like whenever and like I'm seeing my family and stuff. But like in the past 3 years, 4 years, how many times have I walked into Young Israel? Probably like 3 times. Like I don't notice the actual like shift and change. I know
you must walk around and see.
No,
people.
so I know the change that happened, which is there was like vouchers for school and stuff, and like because of that, all like the really from people and Kolol people and all like
It's kind of like if you offer like free tuition, if you offer a voucher, it's like blood in the water for sharks. Jews are just like, honey, we're moving out of Flatbush.
Yeah, so they just got, it apparently did become very right-wing in a certain way, like a lot of right-wing, like Litvox.
It got yeshivish.
It got very yeshivish.
Yeah. Kolo families.
But my family always was middle of the road in a certain way, like the most middle of the road family you can find in an out-of-town community ever. Meaning my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. My dad went to shul some weeks in a suit, some weeks he didn't go to shul, some weeks he went in khaki pants and a blazer. My brothers, went to yeshiva, but like we grew up, I played baseball with, non-Jews. I have friends that were...
There was a very low chance that any of the Warm siblings were going to become a rabbi.
Correct.
A low chance.
We were never going to become a rabbi.
Don't say never.
But no, my brothers were never going to become rabbis. But like they're just, I don't know how to explain it. They're just good, well-rounded Jewish guys. They're just the classic well-rounded Jewish guys. Herring and Kiddush Club, but they're watching, following sports and, they'll watch movies, they'll watch TV, but like...
They're like out-of-town... They're like out-of-town guys that would like fit in town in Brooklyn. Like people would... Yeah, they're cool enough to fit in Brooklyn, but they're out-of-town through and through. They're very American. Your family...
Exactly.
So this was something
most Americanized family you can find. Yeah. So the change, I'm not a great person to ask about it. Like I noticed the change, but like I go back, let's say I go back 6 times a year or 4 times a year. Most of the time they're in short stints between 5 and 7 days, sometimes just a Shabbos. And most of the time I have 4 older siblings, they all have kids. I'm most of the time just visiting my family.
You're just hanging out with the family.
Yeah, I'm not going around, to restaurants there, which there isn't anyways. And I'm not going around to like, I'm not hitting Kiddush Club and all these different things like.
But does it on some level, even just, so I'll tell you how it felt to me. It felt obviously very weird being back in like my hometown. It's a weird feeling going back to hometown that like you just have this memory. It's kind of, glazed in amber. Like that's how it always will be. And then it's not. Things are dynamic. They change. To go back to a neighborhood and realize that like it looks different. You know what it made me more sympathetic towards? When black folk get like upset about gentrification here. They're like, what happened to Brooklyn? And I'm like, oh, come on, things change. And then I go back to Cleveland. I see a bunch of black hats and I'm like, there goes the fucking neighborhood.
You know what it's like? You know what it's like when we're like, when you're in yeshiva and you're like a 9th grader and then you realize when you're a 12th grader or you're a base grader, it's like, what has this place become? It's all nerds, it's all it's all that. And like you look back and you're like, and we're like, is it just the changing of generations? And like you're literally 4.5 years older than these kids. Like there's no changing of generations.
Yeah, you're the same generation.
It's like we're the same generation, but like the change that you see in yourself as you move forward, and you don't realize that change happened over time, and you were really most likely probably like those people. Yeah. When you were younger. Yeah. But you only see yourself in your lens right now, and so it's like... Yeah. It's like a whole... It's a mind fuck.
I would say that the what's happening in Cleveland is different because there literally is a different... Like, there's a stronger faction of a certain community. But you know what's so funny? And we'll jump to yeshiva real quick. Is... So we went to the same high school. We went to WITS, which is, Chavetz Chaim High School in Milwaukee. We were in dorm school. I was 15 when I started there. How old were you when you started?
14.
14, yeah. Which, by the way, we talk about it like it's completely normal because in like orthodox culture that's like normal.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't get shipped away from home at
Correct.
14. It's pretty cool.
Correct.
It's kind of cool. I liked it. I like that we're like kind of pushed into adulthood a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of it, I think, is mainly to work on your independence and things of that nature. I think like that's...
I would disagree.
That's the whole...
I think that's like a nice way for us to think about it, but I think from the rabbi's point of view...
No, I'm not talking about the rabbi.
You're talking about from us.
I'm talking about from us or the parents' point of view. It's like you send your kids off so they can learn to live on their own a little bit. They learn how to make their own friends, make their own stuff. Like, you know, your mom's not doing your laundry, you know, not making your, like, all your meals, all these different things.
Right.
So, like, they send you off to kind of, like, find yourself in a certain way, even though we can...
No, I agree. I think that's like a dichotomy between the way that the parents and the kids think about it. Like, I remember even at 15 thinking, oh, I'm doing this so I can become more independent. But the rabbis, the people who are putting those systems into place, the reason like that we send kids often away to yeshiva is there's this idea of the cocoon of like, you are no longer your parents' kid. We're going to mold you, and you need to be, in order to have the values of the yeshiva seep into you, like you need to exist fully on our terms. You are like, it's a divorce from who you were. You are now going to be like in our cocoon. And I'm not saying that as an evil. It's not like an nefarious thing. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. I feel like there needs to be an expose, a documentary, a Netflix show, something on what high school yeshiva dorm life is like, because it's insane. But
yeah, it's one of the craziest experiences anyone will ever experience.
When I say high school wits, what comes to mind? Like, just rapid. Like, what comes to mind? What are your?
So this is called trauma dump, right? So
talk it out.
Very simply, I think the number one thing that comes to mind going to yeshiva as a 14-year-old kid is trying to fit in.
Yeah.
That is, I think, and I can't speak for other people's experiences, but I think that 80% of going away, whether it be to camp, whether it be to yeshiva, whether it be college, whether it be a new job, anything, is this overwhelming anxiety and need to try to find your place and not to just live on your terms and, you know, have the people organically, you know, kind of approach you. Your experience, especially at the beginning, is how do I get people to notice me? How do I get people to think of me in a positive light or think of me as this person?
Yeah.
So I think to start, I think hearing the word high school, hearing the word wits is an overwhelming anxiety of like trying to like in a certain way people please to, you know, gain friendship.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I stopped
like
people pleasing immediately after high school. I've never people pleased once since high school. I've grown out of that.
But yeah, I had an interesting experience there. I have nothing bad to say about the school, honestly. I have great rabbis there. I think that they do a good job for the things that they do. I think my personal experience there, I had a very specific experience when I grew up in Cleveland, which was in a non-cocky way. I was the sports guy. It's a smaller community. I was always one of the better kids at sports in class.
Yeah, no, you were like a known entity on the Cleveland.
I was a known entity in that world, so I had my identity, you know.
But weren't you the sports guy in high school also?
I was, but like I had my 3 or 4 best friends when I was...
You didn't hang out with our class.
So it was interesting. I had my 3 or 4 best friends when I was younger, right? Yeah. You, a couple others. When I went to WITS, I didn't make friends so easily. Which was
I remember you being kind of a loner a little bit.
So it was
but not an unpopular loner?
Not an unpopular loner.
This weird other thing. You were like this other thing.
Correct, because I didn't have because I never was, in a weird way, I never was a malicious guy. Or like, not malicious, I'm not explaining. I never was a guy that was looking to ruffle feathers more than get reactions out of people in a funny way. But I was never the kid that was like trying to, you know, F with the rabbis, break into their stuff, do all that stuff. So I wasn't that kid. I also wasn't the kid that at that age, at my point in my life, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking weed, I wasn't doing any of that stuff. So I wasn't in that area. I wasn't like in the, you know, we're going to go and break the rules area. I wasn't in the, you know, I'm angry at the rabbis area.
Right.
And I kind of just played sports all day. And I also wasn't super academic, so I wasn't in the area of like, oh, I want to study with my friends. I'm going to be at study hall. I'm going to like.
No, you were just sports kid.
Correct.
You were sports or bed.
Right, exactly.
You've kind of always been sports or bed.
I was sports or bed. And
Like,
so
if someone were to ask me at any given point in the past 29 years, like, hey, have you seen Warren? I'd be like, sports or bed?
Right.
He's either watching or playing sports, or he is watching sports in bed. That's what he's doing.
So I had my sports buddies, but they were really my sports buddies at the time. Like, when I was younger, not as I got older. As I got older in Wits, obviously, I made a lot more friendships, and I have ones that have lasted very long to this day. Many. Thank God. But when I was younger... High school
class, though?
From our high school class,
I'm
not
in touch
as
with
much.
2 people, I think.
From our high school class, not as much. But from one class above us, I stayed in touch, and I've become very good friends with a lot of them.
Do you think that being in the dorm school, do you think that the sort of bonds, I believe this, that the sort of bonds you make in a boarding school, when you're like, that's the thing Rabbi Renner from Wits used to say, is like, you're in prison together, basically.
Yeah.
Some rabbis have the keys to your life. You're stuck in this middle of nowhere, Milwaukee.
For sure.
The bonds you make, like the friends from there, like, I've never had friendships that felt like that, because you just literally don't spend as much time.
Yeah, I mean, so interestingly enough, I did get a couple of those friendships when I moved to New York. But like,
that's true. You've stayed pretty.
I had a couple, but yeah, the friendships that you make in an environment like that, if you cultivate them properly, they last a long time. Like there's a certain nostalgia to them.
Yeah.
That's different.
I call it's just history. It's like, even if like I'm very different from a lot of the friends I made then, they also we all grew in different ways. But you just got history with someone. It's like, what do you mean? Like, we've been around the block like 8 times together. Okay, you pulled off this thing in Wits, and you were in Wits for high school, and I think what would surprise some people is two years of full-time learning. You pulled off this thing where you were not antagonistic towards the rabbis. Like, you and the rabbis got along, but you weren't really with the program either.
So I feel like that's just been me all my life. That's literally, even when I was in elementary school. So I was never super academic. I probably would be diagnosed with ADHD, never have been, but like not on like, oh, everyone's diagnosed. Like, legitimately.
You're in therapy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So but why haven't you brought it up with your?
No, I definitely have.
There's meds for it.
I know, but like,
I have them another med, like
another med,
yeah, another med.
So, your question was like in terms of?
No, I was noting that you were jumping off that of like your ability to like, you weren't antagonistic towards rabbis, but you kind of did. You weren't really with the program.
So full transparency, a funny story, not funny story, but like a story from Wits. So the rabbis were always confused by me in that way. Yeah. Meaning, also there was another pressure on me in Wits, is that I had 2 older brothers that went there and did very, very well.
Yeah.
So both GPA wise, popularity wise, like I had a lot to quote unquote live up to.
Were they like valedictorian level?
So my older brother was valedictorian. He was also like the best player at sports in the school of Rummy. Yeah. Yitz was up there.
Yeah.
And just a likable dude, Yitz, like, and just in general.
Yeah. So social butterfly.
So like, the social butterfly aspect, guy that's like funniest guy in the room, great, and I love my brothers. They're awesome. And then you have Avrami, who was more, he did a little bit of partying in high school, a little bit of this, but like, he was the cool guy in Wits.
Yeah.
But he also was, and he's an oral surgeon now, and the other one's a general dentist. So like, he also
have impressive brothers.
So he was a valedictorian. So that's a lot to live up to. So moving into Wits, all that happened, and it was so funny. As I was in 11th grade, Rabbi Cheplowitz came up to me. He didn't really come up to me. I think I got suspended for minion points like 4 times, so I wouldn't get up, and I wasn't going places, but I was never malicious. I told you, never the kid breaking in, trying to steal tests, doing all that stuff.
Yeah, no, you weren't that kid.
I was never that kid.
You weren't really the drinking kid.
I wasn't drinking. I wasn't talking to girls.
No.
I wasn't movies. I wasn't
literally. You were a huge nerd.
I was literally, all I did all day was play sports. And I had an iPod Nano, and I would like listen to like
Gavin McGraw.
Gavin DeGraw and like Green
DeGraw?
Day.
Is it DeGraw?
Gavin DeGraw.
I said Gavin McGraw.
Yeah, like listen
Shame
to like
on me.
Sweet Chariot. Like then I realized it's about Jesus, which
made me like it more.
Probably wasn't the best thing to listen to. But when I was in 11th grade, long story short, they sent me to a psychologist. Yeah, the school.
Who did? I didn't know.
Rabbi Cheplowitz and.
They sent you to JJ.
No.
Wait, they sent you offshore.
They sent me offshore, this is a great story.
Wait, I just have to, JJ was the on-site psychologist. Like, Wits had a psychologist.
Yes.
And they're like, he's not equipped for what Shmueli's got going on.
So when I was in 11th grade, they were so confused because like my GPA was like always like, even like my English GPA was always like decent because like if you didn't show up to class, whatever, like they were much harder on you. But like and there were longer classes. They were worth more of your GPA. Like each class was like one credit.
What was your Hebrew GPA? Like, what was your
Hebrew
Talmudic
GPA,
studies?
There were 2 Hebrew GPAs, right? You had the Gemara and then you had like Torah studies. I finished with a 0.00 Torah studies GPA twice in high school. And like the other ones were like 0.667 because like halacha shir was 9 to 9:28. Bitch, I ain't getting up for that. Then there's like chumash from 9:30 to 10:10. Again, not getting up for that. Then there's Gemara from like 10:15 to 1:10. And I'm
again,
like,
not
getting up for that. We're not doing this, guys. Like I don't know how to tell you, like we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But they're always so confused in a certain way by me because, or at least that's how it came across, because they always saw me. I wasn't.
You seem like the type of kid who wanted to try,
right? And
you just weren't.
Yeah.
Trying.
So they sent me to one, and when you say shore, there was a mall called Bayshore.
I
Mall
remember Bayshore.
that we used to go to all the time, and it happened to be the psychologist was right there. So I used to take. I'm not going to mention him, but I used to take one of the base medrash guys that was close to a phone. It was literally one of the best things in my life. I can probably
guess who it is.
Okay. Yeah. And I was in, I think, 11th grade at the time. It might have been 10th grade. I used to take his phone, go for like 45 minutes, and then just go to Bayshore for like 4 hours, and then come back. And like Mr. Lebakan, who was
our principal,
the principal, awesome guy.
Wait, you went to see a therapist at Bayshore?
Well, it was across the street.
Oh, that's so.
I just took an Uber.
So
there.
you would. I know exactly what you did. You would go to therapy and then you'd be like polo shirts.
Correct. I would go to therapy and be like, Daddy's credit card. I'm gonna go buy out Banana Republic.
100%.
And I would go to Barnes and Nobles and like just chill. There was Barnes and Noble there, so I would just go and chill.
Did you read in high school?
British GQ.
I had to go out there like, wait, you're not going to Barnes and Noble.
I was never a reader.
I found the classics.
No, bro, I would like literally, I would go and I would like read like Sports Illustrated 1980 through 2019.
Answer this question: why is British GQ better than American GQ?
Because it has nudity.
My man.
Of course.
Only titties, but yeah.
Of course, but when you're
15,
when you're 15, 16 years old and someone sends you to a psychologist because you're not going to school enough, you're like, I need a release.
Damn.
But yeah, like I was never a malicious kid. I remember in high school there were two, when you became like 12th grade, Rabbi Shapiro used to tell you, and I don't want to delve too much into it, so obviously probably move on, but like you can either have seniority, which is like, oh, okay, you're the senior, and like you're senioritis.
Wow, you're unlocking something in my head.
Yeah, so when I was in 11th or 12th grade, because I definitely had insecurities, and again, I had trouble making friends when I was younger, and our class was not a very friendly class overall.
Our class sucked ass. I'm happy saying that on camera.
We were a very cliquey class.
Very cliquey,
and there was like...
Individually, lovely people, but
correct.
cliquey.
But they had like individuals of like 3, 3, 3, 3. You had your 3 kids that read, 3 kids that played Xbox, 3 kids that like liked working out. There was no like cohesion of like 14, 15 kids that liked doing everything together. There was never like plans and like the classes above us actually had a little bit more of that. And I never fit in that specific niche of doing any of those little things. So I was kind of just the sports guy. So the only time I really was like, which I was like JCC Thursday nights, football on Sundays, JCC Saturday nights, whatever it was.
I feel like high school for me, in terms of you, because I had known you my whole life, but we weren't super close in high school, and it was like I wouldn't see you all week, and then you would just show up at the JCC and be like this menace on the court, and like raining threes down, and then I'd be like, I'll see you in a week from now, I guess. You don't exist.
Also, I felt so bad moving on later in life, because obviously I had such untapped stuff going on with myself at the time that like sports was my safe haven, but also it made me feel good. So if I was losing games because other guys were hitting shots, I was not fun to be on.
Oh yeah, you were not a fun person.
No.
There was 2 Shmuelis who were good at sports.
Correct.
And I did not want to be on your team.
Correct. Everyone wanted to be on the
team.
other one's team because even though you would win on my team also, like whatever, it was 50-50. Maybe he won more because he was more
It's
like...
just harder to set up yourself for a 3-shot when you've got you in the corner going, if you don't make this, I'll hate you forever. I'll yell at you.
Yeah. And I was so unself-aware that that's how I came off because I really just wanted to win. So I thought
you were just competitive.
I thought that I was coming off like just encouraging me. Like, no, we'll hit it. We got to hit it because if you don't hit it, then we're going to get knocked off the court and then we won't play for half an hour and when's less time. But like, I didn't realize how it came off was, if you don't hit it, you suck. Give me the ball. And
honestly, it's so validating to like thank God we've like grew up as people. Like it's so nice to be able to, dude. Yeah, you were hard to deal with.
Bro, I was a menace. Also, people used to say I was a quarterback, and people used to say I was difficult. I was like, I'm not difficult to be on the football field with. I just want you to catch the ball.
I think we have this belief in life as that like if someone's being very difficult, and to us it's like they're so obviously being difficult. We think that they're doing it on purpose. They know they're being difficult. And they're just sucky people.
Right.
And it's like, no, you didn't realize how you were coming off. You were being hard to deal with.
I didn't realize that I was being a bitch when I was on the football field. And like, then people would like be like, oh, you're like, then like people would come up later and be like, I don't want to be on this team, whatever. I'm just like, how do you not want to be on my team?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I throw good passes.
I throw good passes. Like, I make good plays. Like, this is going to be fun. And then like over the course...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are there people in the NFL who have some adult version of that, though?
100%.
Are there great talents in the NFL 100%. That like no one wants to be on their team? They're not team players. They get too upset.
It's called being insecure and having an ego.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand.
Who's like a famous quarterback that's like known for like was not great to be on his team? Or basketball player? Yeah, was being Kobe's teammate?
Yeah, they say that being Kobe's teammate versus being like a guy like LeBron's teammate, they say that it was much more difficult. He held you to a standard that was extremely high. He.
Do you think he was unselfish? Do you think Kobe did not realize he was coming off as like a dick? Or did he know? I feel like he knew and he didn't care.
But when you get to that level of sports, it doesn't matter because you get to weed out who you want on your team and who you don't. And when you're the best and you're doing what you're doing, and you have coaches, you want an organization. Okay, you want to play with Kobe, you don't want to play with Kobe.
Right.
You know, like if you're not down to be with Kobe, you don't have to be. In wits, it doesn't work like that. In recreational sports, it's like you get picked on certain teams. It's like the kid who's the 6th best player on the team, who maybe is playing for exercise and just doesn't want to get shat on and catches 2 balls a game, doesn't get to choose whether he's on Shmueli Warren's team or whether he's on another guy's team.
That is the thing with high school sports is like there are just a bunch of kids on that field who are like, this will help me lose those extra pounds. And there's a bunch of kids who are like, if I don't win, I'm not worthy of my father's love.
Exactly. Like on Fridays, like we used to play before Shabbos, and it was like, my Friday night was made on how well I performed on the Friday football games. Yeah. I'm like, if I threw 5 touchdown passes and I dominated and whatever, bro, I was king of the world walking into like Lachun Ranana. Like literally.
This Lachun Ranana is in my honor.
Literally. Like, and if that day like I lost and threw like 4 picks and like, I'm walking in like, what a shit day. Yeah. This whole Shabbos sucks.
Yeah,
like it was literally like it was my make or break.
Wait, I got to rapid fire you real quick.
Yeah.
Because again, as a man you have tales have been told of your ability to nap. Yeah. What is the longest Shabbos nap you took in high school in Wits?
So the problem with Wits was that they woke you up random times all the time. They woke you up for Shacharis.
No, I'm talking about you went to Shacharis, you get to the meal, right?
Okay.
We have the Shabbos meal.
But then they
served the gefilte fish, and everyone used to do this. They would grab food once the main course came out, and then you'd head to bed.
Yeah, but then they wake you up for Shacharis. It's 8 a.m. So how long can you freaking sleep?
Oh my God, you're talking about the next Shacharis?
Yeah, like how long can you sleep already? 13 hours?
I'm asking about a nap, and you're like, no, they woke me up for the next.
Yeah,
the next day.
Are
you saying you routinely? Be honest. Are you telling me that routinely, or not even routinely, you used to nap from Shabbos lunch and Wits till the next Shacharis? You would go to bed for the night?
Till the JCC.
Oh, okay, fine. So you weren't sleeping till
the
next
But I'm talking about Friday night until I would, if I had the opportunity, would sleep from Friday night until the JCC.
I don't think that's humanly possible.
Oh, it is.
No, it's not. That's like 18 hours.
Oh, I've done that multiple times.
You've slept 18 hours?
Multiple times in my life.
Do you have like permanent mono?
No, I have. I had probably a solid case of depression at the time, but even besides that, like I also just have naturally good sleeping skills.
You're a hibernator.
Yeah. So like
that's crazy.
So, but what was funny is going into those times in Wits is that I used to have my beds that I used to sleep in that were other people's beds,
so you wouldn't get woken up.
Found.
I love that.
So on like Shabbos day,
older guys, don't.
Yeah, like base medrash guys, so that they wouldn't walk in the dorm. So I used to, especially during Shacharis, so that we wouldn't get, because there was a whole thing. If you go into, if you're late for Shacharis too many times, then you get suspended and go home. Whatever. I gamed that system also. You get suspended for 2 days, but I used to get suspended before the Out Shabbosim and then fly home for those full 5-6 days. It was great.
Yeah.
But let's say I would go to Shacharis, get there at 7:30, put my tefillin on, go out, go to sleep in a base medrash guy's bed, and leave my tefillin. And it was like always a thing, is that like my tefillin used to be unwrapped, left for hours on end, days on end sometimes.
Yeah.
Just in that guy's room. But like I would, to avoid,
getting woken up.
Yeah, because if they see that you're not there and they make their rounds like 15 minutes into Shacharis, they'll walk around to your dorm and see where you are and try to wake you up.
You know what the funniest dynamic in WITS to me is? By far to me, the funniest dynamic is looking back. When you graduated to, I'm a base medrash guy now. I'm no longer in high school. I am now learning Gemara and Torah full time. I'm an adult. And there's this culture in the WITS of like, the high school guys are just these like little idiots. They're still learning like math and shit. Like they're just little. We're like the B'nai Torah. We're the real, bro. It's a 18-year-old and a 17 and a 16-year-old. It's like you're the same thing. You're the same thing. They were just like us. We thought we were so much more adult. To paraphrase John Mulaney, like thinking that a base medrash guy has like this like authority over you in high school.
The second also that it
is paraphrase is like going out of town and you have a toddler at home and you're like, oh, we should get a babysitter.
Right.
Here's a horse. The horse will take care of you.
Also, the second that you get into first year base medrash, it's like you have to change this personality around the 9th graders now that you're different. Around the 10th graders.
Well, you no longer are attracted to women.
You're no longer attracted to women.
You have no taiva.
You have no taiva.
You love learning Torah all day long.
You love learning Torah. You have your only outlet is sports. Okay, there's no and reading. There's no outlet called listening to music.
The really stark guy's outlet was chumash.
Right.
They would learn chumash.
You weren't allowed to, but obviously we didn't listen to non-Jewish music. Obviously. So it was funny. So when you're a first year base medrash guy, you learn with a 9th grader for night seder.
Yeah.
Right? Not to get too, I don't know how the podcast
right now the audience is mad Jewish. We can get as Jewish as you want.
So like we used to learn with and at that point in my career, I was able to maybe, I don't know, make a question answer in the Gemara, but like barely. I wasn't like, if this kid didn't know what he was doing and he wasn't reading it to me, I wasn't helping that kid out. But he used to come. I had a great 9th grade partner. He like whatever chavrusa shop with the guy, and I have friendly with him until years later. Great guy, and
like he helped you actually learn.
No, he came a couple times. Him and his friend. It was 1-on-2. Yeah. So like it was me and them two, and they came a couple times with like some lyrics to like they wanted to mess with me, like Katy Perry lyrics and like. I think one time it was the song "American" by Macklemore, which is like a famous song. It's fun.
How did you just say his name?
Macklemore.
Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it?
What is it?
I've been saying Macklemore. I think I'm right.
Macklemore.
Macklemore. You said Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore.
Macklemore.
Oh, is it Macklemore?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just think Macklemore. I don't know.
Macklemore?
I don't know. It's Macklemore, bro.
Sounds French for no reason.
Macklemore.
Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore.
All right, so they would test you on lyrics.
So they not test me, but they brought it to like whatever, and I'd be like, I can't look at that. Literally, the first couple months that I was their base medrash chavrusa, I needed to pretend like I didn't know anything about this stuff.
Did you ever go through a period where you actually stopped listening to non-Jewish music?
No.
Not even one?
No.
Would you? I bet this would surprise you. Do you know that I went through like a 4-month, 5-month period?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Because I was very serious back then.
Yeah, you went hardcore.
It's just funny because I'm like obsessed with music, and I literally was only listening to Shmueli for 5 months.
No, I wasn't. I never made the jump from 12th grade to first year where I just became like a different person.
Right.
So many of us did. No, many people did. The only thing, like maybe at one point, maybe at the beginning, I like took learning more seriously. I was like, okay, I'm in first year base medrash. I can do this. This is my calling. Blah blah blah. Everyone else is doing it.
You had that feeling. You're like, I'm gonna be this.
Like there were 14 kids in our class. Only 2 of them went to Israel that year.
Right now, yeah.
And everyone else stayed. So I was like, what's Shmueli gonna do? Well, I just ended up staying.
Yeah.
And whatever. I didn't burn out, but after 4 months, I was kind of like,
You remember there was at least a few months when you like gave it a try. You're like, I'm gonna.
yeah. The first
I'm
4
gonna
months
learn.
I was there, I gave it a try.
So this is something that me and you have in common, and now we're getting into my trauma. No, this is something that me and you really have in common. Is I think we both coasted, and we were very different. I would say like probably more serious. So I like wasn't good at Gemara, but I was so serious about like the religion and about like learning. But we just kind of like after first year, like by the end of second year, third year, I coasted so fucking hard.
I coasted by the time halfway through first year. Rabbi Zakkai came up to me, and I have a great relationship with the guy to this day. I love him. He's the best.
Yeah, he's got strong like just Zaidi vibes.
He's just amazing. He's just, regardless of where you're at in life, regardless of a lot of things, I have only unbelievable things to say about the man.
Yeah.
But, like 4 or 5 months into my first year in high school, in Beis Medrash, I was the second guy to get suspended from Beis Medrash.
Yeah, quite an honor.
What an honor, because basically I had never drank in high school. I never drank anything. I'd never done anything. So
you really didn't drink.
I didn't really. I think like the first time I had it, like I had maybe one on one Friday night, but I think the first time I really ever had a shot was like before graduation because I had such stage fright.
Were you not? So we're different people, but like it honestly boggles my mind. Were you not curious about getting drunk? Do you know that the day I landed in Wits and I was away from my mother, may she live to 120, I was like, I'm free. I'm going to be an alcoholic. Like, I just wanted to drink. I wanted to be drunk.
I was so afraid of being out of control of it.
Really?
Because, yeah, I think mainly because my father was very against, not against it, but my father's a pretty straight shooter when it comes to these types of things.
He didn't like the drink.
He's very into moderation. Like, okay, yeah.
No, it's just that sometimes my mom's
drinking
very anti-drinking.
it was always like, you know, Shmoo, no drinking. No doing this, no drugs, no whatever. These things are bad for you. But like,
were you curious about like drink? Like,
of course,
I was curious about different.
Of course, I was curious, but I was also scared of getting suspended. I didn't want to get suspended and go home for a week and have to deal with that. And
real talk, obviously, like it's crazy that there was a time in our lives when we would drink alcohol and be terrified.
Going back, I would have drank every single day.
Yeah, I'm just saying, drinking has never been as much fun for me as it was in high school because the added like drama of like being in a bathroom at 2 a.m. like we gotta make sure the rabbis aren't here. Okay, take 6 shots of. It's just never gonna be that fun anymore. Now what? I'm gonna go into a bar and order a drink like it's allowed.
Right. Also, looking back on it, I always thought it was so difficult to like hide from the rabbis. Like looking back, and I'm like, well, I could have just taken like 6 shots inside of a bathroom and then down Listerine.
Wits bathrooms were used, I would say, 20% for using the restroom and 80% for drinking alcohol and watching movies. That's what the bathrooms were for.
I watched movies in high school.
They were safe havens.
I would watch movies.
Bathrooms were safe havens in high school.
But
if you needed a rabbi to not see what you were doing, you just got used to the smell of poo, basically.
But weird callback to earlier in the conversation. I just remembered a thing. We were talking about the seniority versus senioritis. I got senioritis when I was like later in high school, 12th grade. I definitely got senioritis at the time, and I wasn't the nicest person. But what's funny is that when you move on later in life and you realize that firstly, I had senioritis done against me when I was in 9th grade. There were 12th graders that and so like I didn't do anything that, I mean, it wasn't like the craziest stuff, but like there were kids that we're friends with now, we're friendly with now, and it's like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have treated him that shittily when I was like in 12th grade. Like, give him a little bit more like respect. Yeah. But like when you're in that, the dorm experience is just, it's an odd experience, man.
It is.
An odd experience.
You said it very well that like the experience of going away to a high school, and honestly, this is the experience it's not just a dorm thing. You know, every movie about public school is about people trying to fit in and find their place.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have so much insecurity. Like, I'll put it this way. I'm sure I bullied a little bit. I certainly experienced bullying.
Right.
Not really from you, from other people in our class.
Right. No, and
looking back,
amongst our class, I didn't bully.
Yeah,
I was never
looking back, like as an adult, and just realizing, like giving a little bit of grace to people. Like high school's, it's a weird time, and like you gotta like I can be upset about it, but it's also like yeah, I get it. Like
man,
you were trying to do what like
when
you
needed
to do to survive.
Exactly.
You know?
When you get older, you realize that most of what is done, most of the things that people do in high school, or at any point in their lives, and this is like a philosophical point, is just 98% of what people are doing is based on them doing it because they're dealing with something.
Yeah.
When you realize that it's much easier to be less upset or less mad at someone else for doing something. Doesn't mean that person doesn't have the right to be mad or upset.
Right. And it doesn't let them off the hook.
It doesn't let them off the hook. It doesn't absolve them, but it allows for a person that it's happening to.
Yeah.
To I think it does allow them to cope with it in a way that they can hold the other person accountable while also moving forward past it and not living in it consistently. Yeah. Because the second that you realize that people aren't doing things, to you because you, most of the time, and really they're doing things to you because of them, you realize that you realize that the shame that you feel from what they're doing is really their shame. It's not your shame.
Yeah.
It's really their shame, and they're putting it on you. And so it doesn't absolve them from the feelings that they make you feel and all that stuff and having to put up boundaries in life and having to get healthy, in certain ways, but it allows yourself to move on in life and to forgive your own self for doing things that you might feel shameful about.
Right.
Because you realize, okay, no, there was a reason for why I did those things. Now, it can go too far sometimes where you just rationale everything to the point where we're all human, and because we're all human now we can do whatever the fuck we want. Where obviously there's balance, but I think importantly is high school, man, it's formative years. Your brain's not fully developed.
Nope.
You're coming out of a space, especially going to a high school out of town. You're coming from a space where you feel extremely comfortable. You've made friends inside your elementary school. You've lived with, your family. You've had your go-tos all the time. And now you're taking all of that and throwing it away and saying, okay, what's my identity? How many kids have an identity at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old of exactly what they are that is not attached to their, parents or siblings or friends or environment or elementary?
I would even say that
crazy.
For me personally, first of all, well said. I would say for me personally, I think that I had an identity. Actually, to me, a lot of what yeshiva felt like for me was faking, trying to mold myself, but it felt wrong, but trying to mold myself genuinely to an identity that I saw mirrored in the older base managers. I saw older yeshiva guys who seemed to have this real fervor for Torah, and I was like, I could do that, and it wasn't really working, but I was like, yeah, I'll fake it till I make it. It's trying on these different identities. Right,
you did have a solid identity. You had the identity a little bit more of the cultured kid. You had Rolling Stones. You knew music when the new albums came out. I remember you and a couple other kids. That was.
It's a very weird experience for me.
But you had that identity.
I would read Rolling Stone magazines even into even my really religious when I was just learning all day. But I would stay kind of up to date on music and on what was going on. Right. I knew that I was a 19-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid in Milwaukee learning Talmud all day, aware that in Williamsburg, in a place called Brooklyn, there was all these bands I listened to doing exploring indie rock, and I was still aware even at that time of if I was born in a different world, I would just be over there doing that, but now I'm here doing this.
What's so funny also what you're saying is that you had an identity, but in a certain way, it was no, my identity is not enough because I want to be cool in whatever cool meant to you in that time.
Cool or meaningful?
Meaningful, whatever it meant for you to have a place in yeshiva that felt like I'm on top of some sort of pedestal. So for some people, that was being the best learner, or at least being the hardest trying learner. For some kids, it was being the best in sports. For some kids, it was being the best at Call of Duty, they used to play, right? And for some kids, it was some kids it was getting the best grades in math class. Some kids it was literally just them being the people that went to freaking 7-Eleven every single night. It was a certain identity that was a cool identity in wits. There were a few different ones. It was either you're good at sports, either you go out a lot, you go to the college and you walk around.
But you know what? What's interesting
the musicians.
That doesn't make us any... those dynamics of you're either one of these things, but you're trying to be the best at it.
Right.
That happens in public school. That happens in every type of school.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
This is what teenagers and young people do.
That's why I think a lot of people in general...
What they do.
Again, philosophically, I think a lot of people blame a lot of problems on yeshiva or boarding schools or how rabbis... I'm this happens all over the place. This is not a systemic thing specifically to Judaism, specifically to rabbis. There are other things that obviously like are specific to Judaism and specific to smaller communities that are trying to at any point trying to elongate a tradition.
Yeah.
Whenever you're trying, like the Jews have been in survival mode for 5,500 years. So like whenever you're doing that and you're the leader of them, like whether you're rabbis or whatever, like you're going to do your best to try to mold or do something in a way to try to preserve that tradition. And so I think that's a lot of where a lot of, either teaching out of fear or doing certain things that, people end up getting traumas from in different things.
I'm going to shoot like straight to the hip,
Sure.
straight ahead. Give me a second. I'm going to grab some water.
Sure.
Should I just keep talking? Like, for the people like listening to the podcast on Spotify, it's like they don't know what's happening. They're just like, oh, Zach's mic's working. And the people on video are like,
probably cut it out because of the water.
No, I'm learning editing right now. Like, there's like, you can just get rid of anything other than speech. Like, the program knows what speech is, and it'll take, it's cool. Editing's cool.
So what were we talking about?
Well, I was about to ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you plan to, like, you get married, you have kids, you're going to send your kids to yeshiva?
So it's interesting. I think that my relationship with Judaism is I have a very interesting relationship with Judaism, meaning I never ever had negativity towards it. I've never had animosity towards it. I've never blamed in any respect rabbis for treating me a certain way. Yeah, certain ones I got along with their personalities, certain ones
may I
not.
interject?
Yeah.
It sounds like you don't have a negative view of it. But I'm wondering if you do have a positive view of it. Because those are not the same thing. You might not have a negative.
Right. So my personality in general, unless I'm passionate about something, I'm a very neutral person in general when it comes to things I'm not passionate about. So, yeah, I don't have a really strong spirituality part
What is the
of me.
list of things you are passionate about? So far, in my mind, it is like sports and Taylor Swift.
Sports, music, psychology, how the human works.
So if Brene Brown started yeshiva, you're sending your
Correct. Correct. Exactly.
even if it's not the fromest yeshiva.
So like that's where it comes into play. It's like every kid is different, and you have to know each kid's personality. And I would send them based on that. Do I agree with the Jewish traditional values of yeshivas? Yes.
You do.
Yes, I agree 100% with. I call them, and it's a little controversial, Mishnah Berurah type values. Like I agree with the values given over in yeshiva from a Jewish Yiddishkeit knowledge and tradition standpoint.
Sure.
I believe that what they're teaching is the correct teaching.
Right.
Right.
Would you be happy if you like raised kids and they were like they got like really intense into it and they like start wearing white?
Made them happy.
If it made them happy.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Made them happy. And I've always said this. I would hope that my kids and people that and the people that I'm either raising or whatever, it could be nephews, nieces, cousins, don't have the struggles that I ever had. Meaning I would hope that they don't have to like feel like they have to sleep through things, or they don't feel certain, ways towards, Gemara or all these different things that I have always struggled with becoming passionate about and therefore struggled with actually doing them. Like I would love for them not to have that. But but at the same time, I'm more about the human aspect of it. So would I send my kid to a modern Orthodox school if I felt that modern Orthodox school was teaching a person to be a better human than the yeshiva school? And I thought that my kid's personality is and different personalities take on different things. Some kids' personalities and can withstand, people chirping in their ear, right? Like middle child personality, things like that, independence. They can withstand going to yeshiva and like a little bit of the negativity that they might feel about being pressured in certain ways, and they'll take the good out of all this stuff, and their personality and how they are raised at home and stuff will ooze out, rather than getting affected by the environment as much. Then you have kids like me who are always more emotional, always more sensitive. That's always going to be affected more by the environment they're in. If I would have went to a modern Orthodox school, I would have been inculcated in the culture for a while. I would have had a girlfriend probably when I was 16, 17 years old. I would have gone on to, play on the varsity teams, things like that. Like, I would have inculcated in the culture and bought in. And, like, on whatever makes me feel, like, the most validated. Whereas, like, you have other types of personalities that, like, yeah, maybe I would send them to a place that's a little bit more unhealthy school when it comes to emotionality, maybe. Maybe the rabbis are a little bit more, tightly wound, but I would know that kid itself wouldn't affect him as much.
Right. You provide like a nice, an emotionally safe space at home, and then they
correct. So it would all depend on.
You
how
sound
I
very
would feel
therapized in a good way.
Yeah. So it depends how I would feel about how my kid personality wise would deal with it, and then how and then.
Do you think you're gonna like be a shul going like? It's just funny to me because I've known you so like I just can't imagine you being like, that's the balabas, that's Shmueli the balabas.
I'm so all over the place when it comes to Judaism. Like, I love the tradition of it. I love the tradition of it. I love the communal aspect of it. I love the family aspect of it. I love the nostalgia.
Are you gonna learn with your kids?
So I love the nostalgia of it, and I love the values of it, and all the stuff that it was taught over to me in a very healthy and honestly, how my father gave it over to me, which is you're a good person first, like the Torah. Like, you're a good person first, you're a Jew second.
Yeah.
And, like, part of being a Jew is being a good person, and then the third part of it is the actions that you do.
I knew you as this kind of hard to deal with high school kid. It was just like kind of like loner bully on the sports field, very good at sports, but just kind of like doing his own thing. And then all of a sudden,
was I difficult to deal with outside of the sports field?
No, you were only difficult.
Right.
You were just a menace on the sports field, but you weren't hard to deal with outside the sports because, again, I cannot explain to you how little anyone saw you.
Right.
You weren't around. Like, you were in bed.
Right.
But, no, it's just funny. Then I see you, like, 6 years later, like, as adults or whatever, we, like, start hanging out. I'm like, who is this Brene Brown quoting mother effer? Like, just, like, hand on heart, that's still my favorite mislabeled moment of all time. From that, back when we were shooting on shitty cameras.
Yeah.
That just rant I had on you about Brene Brown. She wouldn't like you, bro.
Yeah, she wouldn't like me, bro. She wouldn't.
She would. She would love you. Come on, get out of here. She'd love you.
She would like me when she got to know me.
Once she got to know. She would find you a little uncouth. All right, we'll do some rapid fire, and then we'll talk more about your stupid freaking journey. No one cares about your journey, Shmueli.
I agree.
Enough journeys. I have here as a joke, like, what's your red flag in girls? Remember?
What's your red flag in girls?
That's every question. Okay. What's your favorite city and why? And not besides for Cleveland. I know you're a big Cleveland fan, but like you've lived in a couple cities. You visited Miami a lot.
Favorite city is Miami. The weather, straight up, the people.
Is it what do you like about Miami? Is it the crime? Do you like the cocaine? Do you like the women with very large behinds? Like, what is it about?
I think it's a four-part answer.
Okay.
So number one, just the personalities. You wake up, everyone's chilled. Most people are not running places. It's not, beeping everywhere and doing tons of, like, it's literally you wake up at like 10:30. Like, when you wake up at 10:30 or 11 or 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, then walk to Starbucks, you're chilling, the sun is beating down on you.
I gotta push back. You're on vacation when you go to Miami, so you're meeting other people on vacation. That's not how people in Miami who have jobs
I was there.
Work.
So listen, but it's not necessarily true because I was there during Corona.
Okay.
When I got a lot of people also were on vacation.
Right.
But even the people there in Starbucks, even the people that are, even.
Can you move your mic a little bit? It's like,
even just.
It's seductively leaning over your boob flesh and.
But even just how people.
You made it worse. Okay.
Even just how people operate.
Yeah.
They just operate from a space that is just much more calm, much more just chill.
Fine. So we got chill energy. That's the first.
Chill energy.
2.
Obviously, like, beautiful people. Like, it's just.
Do you find that people are more beautiful there?
Yeah, sure.
I think they're just working less. I think people.
That could be.
Fine.
But that could be. But I'm a man.
Feast for the eyes, chill demeanor, feast for the eyes. 3.
Nightlife. I'm a big nightlife guy. And
again, you live in New York City.
Yeah, but
why is it better there?
Because when it's warm, it's a different thing.
Vibe. They dance outside.
Yeah, like they have beach clubs, different things, day clubs, all the different things, like all
What's
that
your favorite
stuff.
place to party in Miami?
Favorite place to party. The SLS Day Club's fun. Again, I'm not really connected, so I'm not going into like the big.
Right.
Like, I'm not getting tables at, whatever.
No, I found this place in Wynwood when last time I was there.
Wynwood has a solid place.
all I know is that we stumbled at like 11 o'clock at night into this place, outdoor, everything outdoor, dance floor outdoor. There was a live band playing Hispanic music.
Dirty Rabbit?
It might have been Dirty. No. It had like a Spanish name. It was amazing.
But I would say...
What's your last reason, though?
My last reason is that I probably meant to mention 3.
Fair.
The last reason is restaurants. I love the food in Miami. I do. I hate Fuego. I think it's a shit concept, and every single place is taking its concept.
Speak your truth. Speak your
truth. I fucking hate... Everyone goes out for birthdays. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know it's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Your table needs to know it's your birthday. Spending $140 on a hamburger, fries, poppers, and some really, really...
You can't be kidding.
No, it's a joke. I'm saying me overspending on food so that I can be in an environment where I get it 45 minutes later than I'm supposed to, and you probably cook it improperly. For you to then shut off the lights 7 different times to give me epilepsy and play Hashem Melech like at a million decibel level, like I'm done.
What I'm hearing is you don't like other people's happiness. You would rather...
No, have it in your own home, bastard.
Keep your joy away from me. I don't want to know it's your birthday. I'm not happy for you.
Like, I don't mind. Have a little cupcake at your thing. We are not your birthday party. If you want to have a birthday party with 150 people, rent out a place and have a birthday party.
I hear you and I respect this take, but if I'm ever in a restaurant and you get a birthday thing, I'm going to let you have it.
By the way, every one of my friends knows I have this take. And they do it to me every time
because
because
get you a big
of
birthday
it.
Celebration.
It's the dumbest crap. It just, honestly, very few things boil my blood. It's just so annoying. It's like you're spending money to be somewhere with your family or with your friends. You're enjoying yourself, and all of a sudden, you have like 18 yeshiva guys that just decided to jump on stairs going, it is
a little obnoxious.
It's so freaking
It's a little
obnoxious,
presumptuous
bro.
where people are like, oh, look, it's this person's birthday. Like, stop what you're doing.
Stop the whole restaurant.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So,
tell me
March
your
2nd,
code on camera.
Oh.
No, you're on camera, dude.
Oh, I don't care if people know my birthday.
Haven't you had phone issues in the past?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got to move to the next question. Real quick, is Taylor going to marry Travis, or are they going to end in flames?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, you were a betting man, you're saying it's not...
Am I a betting man? 98% of celebrity things don't last.
I know, but they seem to have something nice.
She was dating Joe Alwyn for 6 years.
I know.
He was supposed to be nice.
She
wrote a whole album about how he's his British man. He's her British man.
I like him. I like Travis. I think he's a really wholesome guy.
I think he's a cool dude,
He's like
too.
the perfect himbo. He's just like dumb, sweet man.
I would love to hang out with him. He seems amazing. I think it's a Taylor issue. Okay. I don't think it's a Travis issue. I think
we've been to this. Yeah.
I think at some point you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, how many breakup songs can I write?
Real talk. I can't find what the name of the song is. I never gave her Nevermore album a chance. I stopped really caring about Taylor a while ago. I was like intern as a kid. And then I listened to her that folk album, whatever. Yeah. She has this one song in there. It blew me. She still got the heat when she needs to. When she needs to, she's got the heat. Okay, what is the whitest white girl song you have in heavy rotation now?
One Less Lonely Girl, Justin Bieber.
Now? What do you mean? That you listened to that recently?
Oh, hell yeah.
Shmueli, seek help. Okay, I don't even want to go there.
Bro. Oh, hell yeah.
In the past week, you've listened to One Less Lonely Girl?
100%.
Is everything okay? Did we lose battery?
No, I'm just checking where you're at.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Okay.
And that was like, without a doubt.
That's not even a good... I like Justin Bieber. That's not even a good Justin Bieber song.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Once we're talking Justin Bieber, you've got...
don't go with his new things.
Somebody to Love? I'm not talking his new shit. I'm talking old stuff. Somebody to Love is a better song.
One Love is a great song by him.
I don't even know that one. Do you know Fall?
Yeah.
Who's gonna let you... I love that song. Okay.
Who's gonna make you fall
in love? Oh, God. Again.
You're insane.
Why is it switches off so often? You're very protective of your...
I told you, there's weird stuff on there, man.
Yeah, right. You got dick pics on it? You willing to say that on camera?
No.
Okay. Do you think you're going to be wearing skinny jeans into your 40s? This was a separate question from
I think I will be trying to...
Are you going to show that much thigh?
I think that I'm going to be trying to be cool till I'm 85.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're like not our dads. Like your dad is not trying to be cool anymore.
No, actually, interesting that you mention it because there are times where I just go comfort, and I realize what.
Well, you're 30 now.
I realize turning in a month. I realize what comfort means, and so like it could be that I will turn into my dad in like 20 years, and legitimately,
just slacks up to here, just starting here.
I think it really starts with the Clarks.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm just going to start wearing really comfortable shoes.
Something happens to a man, he hits 40, he puts his feet into a pair of Clarks, and he never
He
again...
never looks back.
He's like, you know what? I am done clubbing. I'm a Clarks guy now.
Clarks are like the 2010s version of Rockport.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like, you never look back,
That's
man.
really going to happen to us. We're going to become comfort footwear people.
100%. 100%.
I hope it comes soon. I'm done. I'm done trying. I'm really done.
Yes, there are times, by the way, I am done trying. There are times.
Yeah.
I'm just walking out in sweatpants and stuff and just...
Also, let's be honest. We only dress this cool because we wanted girls to like us.
Yeah.
Thank God. I think both of us have been validated that girls like us enough. Okay, cool. Now Now it's sweatpants time. Forever.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. I'm done. I'm done.
There are times where I've walked out of like my house, like totally could mistake me for a homeless person.
So you're gonna transition from like banana to Clarks and what is like the Van Heusen? You're gonna wear Van Heusen
I'm
one
not
day.
wearing Van Heusen ever.
You are.
No,
it happens to the best of us.
Van Heusen's not comfort. Like
Men's Warehouse. The day you
no,
shop at
I'll
Men's
start
Warehouse.
wearing like Joseph A. Bank.
That's just as bad.
That's just as bad.
Did I ever tell you this take about? Well, now we're talking about like menswear and like American menswear. Now I'm getting fired up. So I've been to Europe, right? We've both been to Europe.
Yes.
Like you see, like the way 50-year-old men, 60-year-old men dress in Europe. They're like, it's not tight. It's just it fits their body.
In Europe, it would be.
It'd be a different story. And then you see American businessmen in an American airport. What are they wearing, Shmueli? They are wearing the ill-fitting suit, and then what do they always do? It's look at me, spitz, purple shirt, purple tie. Same color.
I don't get it because every single store you can walk into could be like, no, that matches, no, yes, that. Like, even if you have know nothing.
You know not to do that.
Someone, like, it's a problem in society. Someone must have walked in and been like, give me the I don't know what I'm doing look.
Give me the middle management at a local McDonald's.
Yes.
Look, I want that look.
Give me the 2004 insurance broker look.
Give me the I'm on my third divorce and I'm overeating donuts in the airport.
But it's crazy that they're even willing to sell it. Like, honestly, they should train cashiers, and when they see, like, no, sir, go back. These things don't go together.
I'm telling you, some of these people who work at like Dillard's are just really doing our middle-aged men dirty.
It's crazy.
They're walking out of stores with suits.
But
they
I guess
should have
maybe
never
the
bought.
people just go like, no, that's what I like. Like even a suit, even like an ill-fitting thing. It's like the people tailor them. Normally these people are like buying a suit at JCPenney or whatever. They go to a tailor and getting it tailored. They just must be telling the tailor, fuck it up.
Fuck my shit up.
Like bro, like I just want the thighs to be really large.
I want to set sail.
And I also want there to be pleats but no cuffs. No cuffs. And it's like, this is my vibe. This is my vibe.
It's unreal.
I also want the shoes that show all the eyelets. Like a dress shoe that shows all the eyelets, but not the chunky ones that are cool and in style. Like, I want echoes.
Is there a celebrity that you... First of all, your dad is the king of echoes. I'm just going to point that
King
out.
of echoes,
I know this.
bro. King of echoes.
Is there a male celebrity whose style you're like, okay, that's mine. Like, who's your style inspiration? Now, we have different styles, so I have my answer locked and loaded, but I'm curious what yours is.
On a talk show, in terms of like how his suit and stuff, I know this is gonna sound cocky. Not saying I look like him.
No, you're saying it's your
Ryan
inspiration.
Gosling's style.
Dude, that's a great choice.
Ryan Gosling's style, when it comes
choice.
to suits and things of that nature, is very, very, very sleek,
Tell me if I got this right.
but classy, but like sleek.
Tell me
I'm
if I got
not
this
into
right.
like the
Ryan Gosling look on a talk show, let's say, is he's wearing a gorgeous suit, pretty short jacket.
Right.
It's going to have interesting pockets, and he's going to be wearing a crazy vest underneath, like a sweater or something underneath.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Or he'll be wearing like a shirt with the button open, but like also his pants are going to be too tight. They're going to come up here. He's going to be showing no sock. Like that vibe. But like the suit itself is going to be a nice suit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like it's not going to be a pink suit.
But it's going to be interesting, though.
It'll be interesting. It'll have like a good pattern to it. It'll be, But like it's,
this is like really showing people like how much me and you used to talk clothes all day long.
yeah,
You really
like
like to
his, and then like going out on the weekends, I'm like, I'll dress like Justin Bieber. Like give me like
No, not anymore. Not
give me,
anymore.
like
you don't know what Justin's dressing like
no,
now.
no. But like
He changed.
But like 2012 Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like,
Justin
like,
Bieber.
like ripped jeans and like a long hem shirt.
Do you have those sneakers that are like high tops? Like the
So,
skinny jean into the high.
Yeah, with the
You really
with
are
the,
stuck
yeah,
in 12.
with the 100%.
That's 2012, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm stuck in my 12th grade era, man. The
Like a big ass hoodie, skinny, tight ass jeans, and then a huge high tops.
And like the Nike 77s.
I don't even know what those are.
Whatever, like
tops?
they're high tops. They're the Nike high tops. The kill shelter.
Skinny jeans into high tops. You know where that originally came from. Let's test you. Where did the skinny jeans into high tops in men's fashion originally start?
I have no clue.
That's the 80s, bro. Go watch with the Back to the Future.
With the Converse?
No, they had Nikes and shit. But if you watch Back to the Future, they're all wearing skinny jeans tucked into high top sneakers.
That's my look, man. That's what I
2012 era Justin Bieber. This is a hot take. I think Bieber's one of the best dressed celebrities now.
He always has been.
He wears whatever. He wears cool stuff now. Okay.
Yeah, he got into the oversized stuff before a lot of other people.
Yeah, he was an early adopter. Honestly, Bieber, he gives me. I'm like proud of him. I feel like almost like I raised him, he's like our age, but like because we knew he was a little dickhead. First of all, we all hated him because it was gay to like him, and then we hated him because he was kind of a dickhead when he was younger.
Right.
A lot of young famous people.
Now, what would you do?
Dude, he's doing the family values. He found God, whatever it is. Like, he's just chilling. He's normal.
Honestly, let's just call it what it is. He's actually made some pretty critically acclaimed good music in the past 3-4 years.
Yes, yeah.
And because of that, all the other things are like falling into place for like people to like him. Like if he was still putting out shit pop music that other people think shit, I love you, Justin. I love your music. I will listen to Never Say Never's album on repeat.
I still have a hard time giving. This is my elite. I don't know if this is my elitism. This is
like
just
Baby is my song, bro.
I still have a hard time giving credit to people like Justin Bieber, the Rihannas and Justin Biebers of the world. If you're not writing your own music, if you're not really involved so much in
so he is now.
I don't know how much
he is. Okay, so watch some YouTube not documentaries, but you look up. There's a couple things. He knows what he's doing. He's not writing all his songs, but he knows what he's doing.
He plays instruments.
He doesn't play them extremely well, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like he wrote the hook to Peaches.
Did he?
Yes, he put the chord progression to Peaches, which is not a chord progression.
Not the same thing as writing the hook, though.
I understand, but the chord progression to Peaches,
he wrote.
Which then obviously you can write a melody around it and all the different things. He wrote. He was messing around on the piano, and he came up with the chord progression.
Right,
and that chord progression that he uses, getting really technical, is not a chord progression 99% of pop songs, R&B songs, any songs use. Most songs are AFCG, CGAF.
Not R&B?
It's R&B. A lot of them are usually just two chords. A lot of them are two chord songs like CF, CG, C D minor, and they're just going back and forth, and you're kind of just riffing off them. They're a lot of riffs, right? His chord progression is, I think it's F, E minor, D minor, C. You're just going down the scale, but starting from F, which is a very interesting place to start from. Yeah. And he makes it, the melody makes it.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
If he's involved, then that's,
he was involved in. He for sure was involved.
He's got a voice of an angel. I always, in my mind, I have to make a difference between like, you're just a hired voice and like a good performer versus like someone who's like involved in, you know, like a John Bellion type who's like sitting there.
Okay, now we're talking.
Listen.
Now we're talking goats.
We're talking the goat of pop. That's how, if someone says, "Hey, I make pop music," you better mean in the John Bellion sense to me. To me, that means you're sitting there going, "I came up with a melody. I worked on the drum parts. I wrote this shit. I wrote the lyrics. You know, I wanna see a full product."
Right, but that's like the difference of saying like Aerosmith versus like Journey. It's like Aerosmith, like all their stuff is like so like well written.
Yeah.
Journey. Okay, there might not be, like, written-wise, like, their melodies are simple. Like, their songs are simple, Don't Stop Believin', Any Way You Want It, same chords, very similar melodies. Right. You know, even Faithfully, like, is they're simple, like, they're not, most of their songs are not
simple doesn't mean bad.
It doesn't mean bad. They perfected the simpleness.
Yeah.
They did a really good job, but, like, they're not as musically, you know, crazy as Aerosmith. Aerosmith's song, like,
are more interesting.
Yeah, are much more interesting.
You ever listen to Toto?
Oh, like Toto is
Take
Africa.
Take me all the way. Yeah, or
he does Africa.
Yeah, that stuff is crazy.
Africa also, he changes keys in. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's different.
Fun fact: they were the Michael Jackson's band for a while.
Interesting.
Okay. I got a question that I've actually never really asked you, which was, what the hell was mislabeled before I came on? What happened? Like, did Label just come to you one day with like crackpot, like cocaine energy, and was like, I'm starting a podcast? What happened?
I think that's how it started. I think Label came up to me one day. Not one day, but like it was like just conversations over the course of time. Like, everyone obviously needs to hear our voices because we're the two most annoying popular human beings in the entire world that obviously need to get their voices heard. Right? Like every podcast.
People deserve us.
People deserve us.
They've earned our
right.
They've earned the right to
like earn our and to like enjoy our wisdom.
At any point where you're like, Label, I don't think you should do this, you sound like you gargle cigarettes, or you were like, no, let's do it?
No. I think there were times. I think like I was like, okay, like what are we gonna do? Like I was gonna work all this stuff, and then like just one day it just came together. I don't know. I think like one of our roommates at the time had a friend who did a technology, and like it just slowly came together. And then you should see the beginning. You've seen the beginning.
I've seen some of them. Yeah.
It's just. It was a time, man. It was a time.
It was okay.
Look at it now, and it's thank God.
Listen, props to Label. He turned. I don't think people realize how much effort it takes to take something that's a joke almost, that you and your friend are doing, into like a proper piece of media. But do you miss it? Honest talk. Do you miss it? Do you miss being on air? Do you miss the excitement of like, oh, we got a good guest, we got to come up with some questions?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, of course. How can you not?
Of course.
I think a lot of people on the internet, our fans are like, which is still weird to say, but our fans are wondering like, does Shmueli miss it? Does Shmueli want?
Of course, I miss it in a certain space. Like it was a great creative energy. I got to do things with my best friend, like at the time. Like
Label is like legitimately your homie. Like,
yeah, like homie, like
homies.
And by the way, at the time, I don't mean like at the time, like now we have to follow. Like no, we're best friends still. Like no beef.
How's he taking the? I don't know if we can talk about this on air, but you told me you're planning.
No, so we'll talk about that at a different time.
Fine, another time.
But yeah, doing something with your best friend, growing something, getting to meet so many cool people, like it's dope. And then like there are times where like I'll see like a cool person like come into the studio, and I'm just like, damn, probably would have been cool to have been in that conversation.
Who's your favorite that you got to talk to?
That we got to talk to overall?
While you were there,
I always went between two. I think Giannis Pappas was just absolute fire. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I always loved talking to Menachem Bezdansky. I think I think his wisdom is unmatched in certain areas, and I think it was always a very, very, very calming energy. I think
you would have really enjoyed also the Sonny Perlman episode.
Right, I would have. I just couldn't make it.
Very wise. Yeah, Giannis was. I think you picked up on it. I was so nervous before Giannis because to me it's funny because when we went to meet Gary Vee, I was zero nervous.
Right.
I don't really care about Gary Vee. I don't watch his stuff. Giannis to me is like a hero, and I was like, he was so cool. He was so cool. He was so chill. He was
amazing.
He's like a professional podcaster. He knows how to just go.
I have to go through all of them. Like, I don't even know. I have to go through all of them. I have to think about all of them.
I'm going to throw out a crazy hypothetical to you, okay? Mm-hmm. Some dude with a budget, he's got some money, just like a Label character, reaches out to you in a month from now and says, you were always my favorite voice on Mislabeled. I was a diehard fan, and it's a shame that you're not on the internet right now talking your shit and doing your slapping the knee laugh. I want to start a podcast with you. I'm paying for it, but I want you in. You saying yes?
It's a good question.
Because I know behind the scenes, you, less so than me and Label, you were not as into the idea of putting yourself on the internet forever as me and Label were like fine with it.
Right. I'm definitely more reserved and like I'm not more reserved human being in public as a person. Like I'm an extrovert, outgoing guy. But like I'm more reserved about like even this, like, oh, this is gonna be on air forever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be on
government
YouTube forever. Everyone's gonna know about my experience at WITS forever. Yeah. Like
so do you think you would if you got that call, you saying yes?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so. Not right now.
You're what's the word? When you're hanging up the jersey, you're hanging up the mic. You're hanging up the mic.
For right now.
Who's gonna laugh that dumb
and
that loud?
I know,
in the
it's
podcast.
funny. It's
You have
funny.
like
Dovey,
probably top three
I just had
voices.
my Dovey.
Laughs.
I just had Dovey, the new co-host.
The new co-host, yeah.
Awesome guy, and he's like, he just posted on the Mislabeled page because he just come over, and like he's like, one of the things like, bro, you have a laugh, and like I don't have it, and I'm just like, well, firstly, you're just stoic. Like
he's
like stoic is a nice. He's like stoic is a nice way of putting it. I'm a stoner, and I have stoner vibes, and I don't I don't really laugh. I'm like, yeah, you just gotta laugh a little, but yeah, no one's gonna get that. No one's gonna get that.
Me and Label used to talk about this.
No one's gonna get it.
Like when you weren't there.
It's like a yawn.
We used to be like, dude, like Shmueli needs to be in this episode because we need. Yeah, you have that infectious.
It's infectious.
Laugh.
It's like
just like.
It's like if I laugh that hard, it's like impossible for Flatbush Girl to be mad about the Aguna crisis.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Like if I laugh that hard.
I think what you're trying to say is that the real way to get through the Aguna crisis, to solve that issue, is laughter. Laughter is truly
I think
the greatest
laughter
medicine.
is a solve for a lot of things.
You would go over to an Aguna and be like, "Have you tried laughter?"
Have you tried laughter?
Oh my gosh. One sport has to go. Which
hockey.
One? Yeah, but I'm gonna make you pick from the big three. It's baseball, basketball, football.
Baseball.
Smart choice. Who is your favorite rabbi? I do not mean living. It's got to be someone from like like the tradition.
This is where I'm the most Americanized Jew you will ever meet. I know no one.
I mean, you know some people. Like,
but you're asking me for my favorite one. I don't know nothing about them.
Was there a rabbi you liked? Like there was a rabbi you liked?
I did a book report when I was in 6th grade when we had them, and you had to do like a good gadol report. I did it at Rav Chaim Shmueli. You know why?
Why?
His name has Shmuel in it. Bro.
He's my favorite because he's same voices, same name.
Like, you know what? I don't know if it's favorite. But I would say too, I've always heard great things about the Rebbe. I'm not even joking.
You're just saying that because we're filming in Crown Heights.
No, I legit.
You're literally a foot away from
I'm not even joking. Like, my family, like, has very close relationships with Lubavitch and different things. Right. And I always grew up revering it in a certain way. And the stories I've heard about him. And obviously, I know all the controversies and different things that happen after it and all that stuff. Whatever.
You like the Rebbe?
Doesn't matter to me.
I think I was aware of this, that your family's kind of into the Rebbe. And that must have been weird for you because the yeshiva we went to was pretty anti.
But this is where the non-malicious part of me comes into play. I didn't give a crap.
Right.
So, like, okay, big deal. You know, like one of our 11th grade Rebbe didn't like, Rabbi Shmudkin. Okay, like, you're going to stop me from, like, liking an entire community of people that I grew up with in Cleveland that were always amazing to me. Right. Like, between me and you, we had one of our better friends was a Lubavitcher growing up.
I think yeah.
Lived down the block from me. You know 100%. What I'm saying? Like, I think his dad was a great guy. I still think his dad's a great guy. Like,
well, you don't need to preach this to me. I mean,
and overall, like, I obviously every movement and everything has its pros and cons, but the Rebbe as a person, I've just heard
maybe read a documentary about him.
So many great things.
His books are
on a really random place or point, I think Rav Elchanan Wasserman, only because really random, super random.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Only because, like, apparently he was, like, amazing during the Holocaust. I don't know what that means.
I'm just saying that's.
I don't know what that means, but apparently, like, the dude was like, cool cat moving into it.
Just the soundbite of just like, well, my favorite rabbi. I know it's random, but like this Rav Elchanan Wasserman, because apparently he was mad chill during the Holocaust.
I don't even know if he died before the Holocaust. I just know like 1933 was when Hitler was coming to power and all this stuff, and I just remember like he was. I heard good things about him. You know what I'm saying? That's good things. I'm just telling you straight up. I know nothing. This is where it really comes into play.
Christian,
by the way, this is where the people will ask me when I was younger and I was more like, I guess, not in the shidduch scene, but more along like the more straight and narrow path of like types of girls I wanted to like, marry or date. And it was always like, I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm on like a third or fourth day. I don't know how to explain this to you, but like I know nothing. Like I went to yeshiva for 6 years. I know nothing.
Nothing stuck.
Like
stuck.
You guys don't you're gonna ask like what Havdalah do you make on a Saturday night if it's Sukkot? No. We're not. You know, like when is this? When is that? What are we doing? Like what minhag do you have, bro?
Okay. You are waiting for a woman to marry you and mold you into the person she needs to be. You want to be halachically groomed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I got a couple more. I got a couple more. When was the last time you were drunk? And I don't mean tipsy. I mean
last night.
Actually?
Yeah.
Like drunk.
Yeah.
What was the occasion?
Just had a difficult day. Just had a difficult day, man.
Okay. What is a talent you have that would surprise people? You can't say music. People know about that.
So it's so funny. A talent?
Or an interest.
I think most people know from like the previous podcast. So funny, like going into music. Like music was always like something that I always kept on the side that people didn't know about, and then slowly or surely, like people got more and more to know about it. But I still think a lot of people don't know as much about it. Like I play piano, but
Right.
like not on like a small.
You transition from sports guy to music guy pretty
Yeah,
well.
I play. Like it's like I have one in my room. It's like I'll wake up at 2:30 in the
I was
morning.
like half
and
expecting you to tell me you're like into dance now.
No, I can't. I have 2 left feet.
You can't dance?
No, I have 2 left feet. I have one of the best hand-eye coordinations.
Right, I was gonna say you're like
one of
coordinated.
the worst. Yeah, but I don't have good foot-eye
It's a
coordination.
rhythmic thing. You're just white. You're really white.
Yeah.
You are a white woman. I think
whitest.
in every other universe you're a white woman.
I'm the whitest, literally. I'm trying to think real quick. Something, I guess psychology. But I think most people know that.
Something you were into as a kid. Did you ever do anything nerdy?
No.
You were not into none of the card games, none of the anything. A TV show you liked.
Oh, I love Seinfeld, The Office. I'm the most basic.
That's basically it. Oh no, you are a diehard SpongeBob fan.
Diehard SpongeBob.
You know SpongeBob
fan. Diehard SpongeBob fan. Fine.
You never read Harry Potter, did you?
I never read Harry Potter.
You never even read. Oh wow.
No, I never read Harry Potter. I only watched the movies, and I think I only got to like the 4th one. I'm a diehard SpongeBob fan.
You're a white girl on Hinge.
Yeah.
Spicy margaritas.
Yeah,
but
sushi
and the Office.
Chinese, not sushi. Chinese.
You like Chinese over sushi?
Yeah, Chinese is my favorite food.
You're a fan
by
of
far.
diarrhea?
I will literally order that at any time of night.
Do you cook? You don't cook.
No,
not at all.
I could.
You could, but you choose.
Yeah, I'm a decent.
You order out every single night.
Most nights.
That is not the most cost-effective way to live.
No, my life is not cost-effective. my life is the least cost-effective. Like, you know, there's Dave Ramsey, and like,
yeah.
I am the anti-Dave Ramsey. I'm like, how do you possibly go so far into debt that you want to go more just to escape the debt? Okay. How expensive is that steak? Do you have a more expensive one? Because I'm not having a great day.
You are the king of living beyond your means. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you said, so because I know Label does not know really how to cook. You know how to cook?
I do know how to cook, yeah.
You just don't.
Label has gotten better over the years, but I know how to cook, yeah.
You just choose. Are you ordering out lunch? You won't even make lunch?
Yeah, no, I had Dunkin' today.
Unreal.
Yeah. Bagel, egg, and sausage.
Dude, it's like plastic from there. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know why. You know what it is? It's just
is your stomach okay? Like in general?
I told you I wasn't feeling so well. I had a couple.
Dude, you want to know why your immune system's terrible? You eat Dunkin' for lunch.
Yeah. I do not. But what's funny is I like healthy food. Like I like healthy food. What?
Do you order salads when you go to restaurants?
No.
So then you don't like.
But I will. But I could. Like if
you
I went
there.
Isn't
the same thing.
No, like I went to La Maria with my friends and I got a steak with mashed potatoes because I love mashed potatoes. But I got spinach. Just because I like spinach.
Let's get a slow clap for Shmueli right now.
Because I like spinach, but like
but
you know, like some kids or some adults, they don't like vegetables.
Yeah.
Or they don't, or they're really picky eaters. Not a picky eater.
Sure,
I like cauliflower, asparagus,
not being
broccoli.
a picky eater is not a compliment anymore.
I can name at least 8 vegetables that the average guy does not just
The
eat.
average guy likes vegetables. That's a thing we grew out of in 5th grade.
I don't know. The average person doesn't like squash and
Incorrect.
zucchini and all this
Look,
stuff.
Shmueli, I'm cool and hip. I like zucchini.
Bro, I need to do something in order to impress the ladies, man.
Okay. All right, it's for the women.
I love wild butternut squash.
Here's the thing with Dunkin' is that eating lunch at Dunkin' is like, it's a little suicidal. It's a little bit like I've given up on, because
It's like eating.
you watch them microwave it. You watch them take that discus of an egg.
It's like someone that eats non-kosher meat going into a gas station and getting it from the Burger King inside the gas station.
Yeah, or like those rotisserie. You know those 7-Eleven rotisserie hot dogs?
Yeah.
I've always
By the
been
way,
curious
they
if
say
they're good.
that the taquitos,
I don't know.
they're like those are like the dough wrapped things that they have.
Yeah. Oh, hot dog on a dough.
Yeah, but it's not hot dog. I don't know what is in. I don't know what it is, but they say
that.
that they're fire. I personally don't eat non-kosher meat, so or any like cooked like.
You said
whatever.
that exactly like the way someone who eats non-kosher dairy says it.
No, like non-kosher dairy, 99% of the time I won't. But if I'm like shtickle schwasted off my butthole, then like, you know, if
Bro,
some
you
homeless
up
guy,
that Trader Joe's Parmesan?
No, if some homeless guy hands me a slice of pizza, like what?
Oh.
But
You know, I grew up like thinking, oh, $1 a slice is like a thing. And then you actually moved to New York, and you're like, that's not a thing.
no,
Nothing's $1 a slice. Nothing's
and the only ones that are $1 a slice
are terrible.
I would assume.
Yeah, one would have to assume. Okay. Oh, this last question is probably going to have no answer. Well, no, you do. Okay. What is something you've read that would surprise most people? You're not a reader, but you do read like psychology books. But what is the book that you think people wouldn't know that you've read and enjoyed?
I mean, I think that everyone would know. I've read every single one of Brene Brown's books.
Right. Well, how about this? What's a book you would recommend to people? Besides, Brene Brown's pretty famous. What's something that you've read that you're like, this really had a positive effect on my life? It really changed the way I do things or see things. And like, you've got a platform here. Tell people what to read.
There is a book by Stephen Hayes called Liberated Mind.
I own it.
Fantastic book.
That's ACT, correct? AC. His therapy is called.
I don't remember exactly, but I read it years ago. I remember it's a fantastic book.
Yeah.
There's another book called The Emotion Code, which is there's basically a method of healing and whatever different things called the Emotion Code. Mm-hmm. If you look it up online, whatever, it's a whole thing, and so it's a kind of a book in it. It's a little weird, like it's a little not mystical, but it's a little weird. It's like if you stand up, however, like naturally your body sways in different ways is like how you're feeling in that moment. It's like if you're swaying forward, you're feeling a certain way. If you're swaying backwards, like you just notice it.
That's interesting, yeah.
And so like there are different things. So like, but like
the
straight up
code.
Yeah, but straight up the two, and I can't like Brene Brown, Daring Greatly, first book I ever read.
What do you mean first book? You just said
book. One of the first books I ever read, start to finish. Wasn't Matt Christopher, which were like sports books when you were like 5th grade.
Okay. Yeah.
Straight up, like one of the first books. I'm not a reader. One of the first books I read, start to finish,
was Brene Brown's.
Brene Brown, Daring Greatly, and the amount that it helped me as a 22-year-old kid was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I probably over the course of 7 years have reread it 3 to 5 times.
You think if Mislabeled ever gets Brene Brown, that's gonna hurt for you?
Yeah,
because I have my list of people that if they interview,
I
would be like, oh, I wish I was.
No,
there.
I would barge in on that.
Yeah, you would be like
I'd be like, no, and I would just start
knocking on the door.
Yeah, I would just be like, this podcast isn't happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And then she has one other book called Rising Strong.
Rising Strong.
And not one other. She has like 10 other books, but those are the two that.
Do you follow any of the like now it's very popular the Instagram mental health influencers? Some of them I quite like. Some
yes, Matthias Barker.
Matthias Barker. What's his like area of
I think most of it is like CBT and trauma response. So like, you know, he talks about avoided attachment style. He talks about just anything and everything. You know, if you're around narcissism, if you're around, you know, when it comes to insecurity, how to, you know, deal with anger, how to do literally anything. Normally they're 1-minute clips, so they're very engageable. Yeah, I think you would like him a lot. You should let Matthias J. Barker, I think is how.
I'll check him out.
Or
yeah.
Matthias.
I've got my like.
But he
really
has
people I like.
he I follow him on TikTok. He's amazing. Very soothing, very calming. Just my type of guy. Like, he's not an intense therapist. He's not someone that's a life coach type of therapist in a certain way. He's just like a talk it through with you type of person.
I like that.
And like spatial person. So like,
I like that.
I would say go listen to him.
You have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can meet in person and have a drink with and speak one-on-one for an hour with Brene Brown or Will Ferrell.
Ooh.
Don't give the answer you want other people to hear.
1 hour, Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Give me 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Like, with Brene Brown. I just feel like I would just get bored eventually. Not bored. I just wouldn't like...
Because she's a woman.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
They're less talented people. But... no. But... I feel like I would just get everything I needed out over 10, 20 minutes. Just be like saying thank you.
I mean, her you just want to say thank you to.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you and pick her brain for a
What
second. But I know all her stuff. Will Ferrell, I just would literally want to just run skits with for days on end.
I just want to follow
I just
Will
want to go
around.
into a supermarket with him.
Yeah. You just want to shop with him.
Yeah, I just want to go into a supermarket and be like, wow, these zucchinis.
I want to watch him weighing different vegetables and be like, this one's better. Like, that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
His stupid humor is the best humor ever. One of the skits he does is he did a skit on Jimmy Fallon recently, and I hate Jimmy Fallon, but that's a different story for a different time. But not as personally, he's a good person. I think just as he's not funny.
He's not very funny, no.
He's very talented. He is.
I like that people think
he
that
has a
he's
lot of
not being
different-
genuine. I think he's
No, I
just,
think he is.
I think he's sweethearted.
Yeah, he is very talented. He can sing, he can dance, he can play instruments. He's a super talented guy. I think sketch comedy he's decent at. But one sketch was like he was singing "Don't Stop Believin'," and Will Ferrell's in the audience, and he stops him at every line. Just a small town girl, and like he just screams, "Where's she from?" From South Detroit. How did she get there? Riding the midnight train. Going where? Going anywhere.
the
It was
knife
amazing.
guys?
Unbelievable. Yes, the knife guys. Him and Ryan Gosling. And by the way, Ryan Gosling cannot keep a straight face. He cuts straight through butter.
If people take anything out of this podcast, just go, if you haven't seen it already, go type in knife guys into
Knife
YouTube
guys.
and just
Oh
watch.
my god. Back when Jimmy Kimmel was
He used to have great skits.
actually awesome.
Were you a Craig Ferguson guy?
I loved Craig
Dude,
Ferguson.
Craig is the man.
First of all, Craig Ferguson is
King of flirting.
If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ever want to learn how to ever flirt with a girl ever in your life, just watch Craig Ferguson. But
It's not really true though. I've realized.
No,
because there's a.
It's
It only
energy,
works
it's all-
because he's the host.
He's the host.
You
the
can't
whole
pull
thing.
off Craig
Also,
Ferguson
also
lines.
the people that come in there know that that's like kind of the
Yeah.
thing. His, what
He's
was
type
what
of
was the
chat-
robot guy? That's
George. Jeff.
Jeff is like does his thing. Yeah.
Craig Ferguson's type of chat with women. He
has the Irish accent,
I'm not
it's the
taking
whole
away
thing.
from his talent, but that type of chat would not work in bars. You need different.
No, yeah, correct.
Yeah,
You can't.
Yeah.
No.
But he was also just funny. He was a real improv. He was the only person I ever saw go tit for tat with Robin Williams and stay with him.
Yeah, no, he's
he
great.
stayed.
Jimmy Kimmel was awesome
Back
for
in the day.
many years, and now every single thing is just political.
I
Even
don't
in every
watch.
joke, every last thing
Yeah.
is either a beef he has with someone or political. Like most of their stuff is not
I'll say
just
this.
naturally just like.
I
funny
think
skits,
he's not a good
funny stuff.
interviewer. I think him and Fallon are not good at interviewing. I think that
Letterman was always the best interviewer.
No, you know who's very, very good at interviewing? I would say that he's the person I look up to most for how to have a conversation with someone in a short amount of time that has meaning. Colbert. Colbert's an unbelievable interviewer.
Yes.
Unbelievable. He's not really funny anymore.
Yes.
He's
Stephen
just
Colbert is also
talented.
Again, I don't know their IQs, but he's
smart.
He just seems like a guy that he's dealing with a different level of intellect, like
Yeah.
real intellect. Like he's a guy that knows so much about so many different things, and the way that he processes his guests' responses and how he can respond
He's
back.
emotionally smart.
It's just his EQ and IQ and all the different things is just yeah.
I'm glad you picked up on that. You should know when Miss Label first started getting going, and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna be a podcaster, and like here I am still being a podcaster. I got re-interested in Colbert, and I started watching his videos just because I'm like, let me let me try to inculcate some of what I'm seeing here into my ability.
Who did he have? He had a conversation with someone. Someone asked him about Christianity and like what his relationship with is, and it was like a beautiful answer. Like such a thought through answer.
Yeah.
That was, but clearly so on the spot. But he was able to deliver it in like a 47-second just.
You know, there used to be back in the 80s stuff. There was like Charlie Rose. There was like these like
Right.
late night hosts that would have like long form, intellectual, intelligent, emotional conversations with celebrities instead of these like
with Goerge Lopez. Goerge Lopez tonight, bro.
I forgot that existed. I forgot that existed.
Tonight. He was having some real intellectual conversations.
Oh my God, George Lopez.
Still the number one best. No, still the best late night host ever.
George Lopez. Yeah, easy.
Conan O'Brien.
I don't think he's beating Craig Ferguson. He is certainly the best.
I think
his demeanor.
Between the demeanor, the wittiness, he's also very smart. Like he went to Harvard. Like he's also very smart.
Yeah.
Like his intellect, his wittiness, him and Andy's thing.
Andy's great.
Like he was able to go to TBS and which is like not a national channel and like
He blew it up for them.
Yeah, he's just also his skits were great.
You know, he's got a podcast and it's fantastic.
What's it called?
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. He's also, by the way, it's a certain enjoyment to be like a diehard Conan fan like your whole life, and then like he's always so kosher.
Right.
Then like on his podcast, he's dropping F-bombs. He's being more raw and real.
Also, he knows how to toe the line on when he used to have his show. He used to toe the line so well of how to be not kosher, but not say exactly what he's saying. Like, make jokes.
Innuendo.
You have tons of innuendo.
Yeah,
tons of innuendo. Very good at it.
Yeah.
King of innuendo.
Do you remember the...
He had a Norm Macdonald interview. Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. At some point, every dude on earth has just gone through a Norm Macdonald phase and been like, I will watch every interview with this
Norm
man.
Macdonald's best joke is I'm a closeted gay.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know if it's his best joke. That's saying
one of his best jokes.
It's one of his best. I like the Hitler thing a lot, but...
One of his best jokes.
Yeah.
So you're gay? No, I'm not gay. I'm
No,
closeted.
deeply closeted gay man.
Deeply closeted gay man. How can you say that I'm gay? Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. So great.
Yeah, Norm's jokes would only work with Norm. But I think the funniest thing Conan ever gave the world was Triumph, the insult comic dog.
What are you talking about?
You've got some Googling to do. All I gotta say is you got some Googling.
The
Triumph,
insult comic dog?
Triumph, yeah. It's this guy, Robert Smigel, obviously Jew.
Robert Smigel?
Yeah.
You couldn't come up with a worse name.
He sounds like that's what came out of...
If Hinge profiles had last names, that guy would never get swiped on. I don't care if he looked like Ryan Gosling.
Dude.
Who are you going out with? Robert Smigel.
That sounds like the name you would expect of the Jew who guards the 770 tunnels.
Oh, I do know who Triumph the insult dog is.
Yeah. Dude, I do think we got to wind this down, especially since at this point we're just telling each other things to Google. Actually, we're going to do another hour of just me and Shmueli telling each other what to Google.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one clip from College Humor? No.
Yeah, the one on the subway.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
No, they always do.
Dude, really appreciate you coming through.
Sure.
It's so interesting. I never thought I would. I've always.
Next time we'll do a more lighthearted one. I feel like the first hour of it was very, very focused on like, which is not a bad thing. It was a very linearly focused.
I never
like
imagined
a journey at the beginning, like wits and different things.
Yeah,
it's like very like particular, but like we can get into more stuff.
Not a bad thing. Yeah, maybe I'll have you back. You know, we can always have you back.
You will have me back. And I don't care if this gets 96 views. Because that's 96 more people that are going to feed my ego.
The crazy thing about our lives the past year is that there are now a lot of people who would just be happy to see you and me on a couch. And I think that's really
I would hope so. Yeah.
As you should. No, I never really imagined myself being a podcaster. And then like once I was one, I was like, oh, this makes sense.
I'm white. I realized I was going to be a podcaster.
Yeah. But I was going to say me and you. I just didn't think it would be me and you.
I'm a straight single white male.
This is inevitable.
I had a podcast coming.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn. Pretty amazing. Do you think, okay, here's a final question. Do you think from Miss Label, from your history now of things you've said on the internet,
sure,
has it affected your shidduchim prospects?
being that I
Do you think you've
don't
burned some
really
bridges?
shidduch. Secondly, I don't think so. No, I don't think I ever said anything that bad. Besides,
You're just
for,
being yourself. You're being real.
Yeah. Besides for saying that a bunch of 60-year-old women is not going to.
We don't even need to.
No, we're gonna do it right now. Just as a soundbite. Besides for not backing down, that putting a bunch of 60-year-old women on EMT thing and saying we're gonna carry you upstairs is gonna, is really inspiring. I mean,
Shmueli, every day is so inspiring.
You can cut that out if you want.
I might have to. We'll see.
I don't know. What's the worst thing you can
Do you
go
know
through?
what?
That'd be actually funny. Like, what's the worst thing I possibly said on Mislabeled?
Nothing really.
I'm trying to think. Like, what
Honestly,
would be
you know
like?
what the worst thing you said on Mislabeled is? And you've done it once or twice this podcast? You just make up words sometimes.
Oh yeah, sure.
You just straight up like say a word that's almost a word, but
I'm like
it's not
Stephen
a word.
A. Smith.
Yeah. That's the worst thing you've done.
Unperturbative.
You have to be unperturbatives. Oh god, dude.
Well, this has been rambunctious.
Yeah, it's a Scrabble word. Comedy.
Oh my god,
Oh,
I've had a superlative time.
Oh, thank you so much. You know how I'll know that this podcast, Trauma Dump, has made it in the world? When I've got Doreen Warren in my comment section, your mom, just going, parenting fail. No, Zach. No. What would Barb think? No.
Amazing.
Dude, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir.
I gotta go eat some food.
I gotta go eat some food too, and I gotta go nap.
That's a wrap.
Peace.